Okay, so I said I would talk to you about this whole policies that are against education. I teach high school, okay? I've been doing this for 18 years. So my youngest kids are, if they're young coming into my grade, 16. My oldest ones, if they're old graduating, because I teach 11th and 12th grade, are usually 19. And there's very few of those. So we're talking more 16 to 18 is the average age group that I teach, getting ready to go to college really soon. So cheating is commonplace now. And I think everybody knows it, so we can talk about that at a whole nother rate. But cheating is very commonplace. So I'm having a conversation a couple of months ago with my principal. And in that conversation, we're discussing a letter that I wrote to parents along with this situation. And in this letter, I write something along the lines of, this is where the student broke policy. And I did refer to the book with coming up with these points. And I used the word policy a couple of times. And in this meeting with my administrator, she said, I need you to stop using the word policy. And I just kind of keyed at her and she goes, it's not called policy. We don't have policy. We have guidelines and procedures. That whole school board book that they approve, that is written, that has come up with committees that the school board oversees with parents and themselves and some educators, and they do get some feedback, but if you ask educators, most of the time we're not listened to. So, take that with a grain of salt. This whole book that the teachers sign every single year, that students sign every year, that parents are supposed to sign every single year, and they have to when they register for school, is called a guidelines and procedures. So the hindering flaw is they are guidelines for teachers to follow. They are guidelines for administrators to follow. And by guidelines, I mean policy for us. We can be fired. We can be fired if we don't follow the guidelines and procedures. We can definitely be written up. We can definitely get a talking to. And if a lot of people don't follow the guidelines and procedures, then we get new guidelines and procedures about how to follow the guidelines and procedures, right? More procedures are put in place. But you know who doesn't have to follow the guidelines and procedures? The students, the parents, and the school board. They get to change it if they want. The students don't have to follow the guidelines and procedures because the idea behind guidelines is that there's wiggle room. The parents don't have to follow the guidelines and procedures because they basically can help. They speak for their kids. So there's no ramifications. Nowhere in there is anyone held accountable except the teachers and the administrators on campus. Hear that again. No one is held accountable except for the teachers and the administrators on campus because our livelihood depends on it. We have state laws that already regulate us. Just like medical facilities have medical laws, educational facilities have educational laws. We have laws that regulate us. So we put in a guidelines and procedures to say, this is how we want you to behave. This is how we want you to act. These are the consequences that we would like to put in place, but we're going to give you a way out each and every time. Yeah. We are set up to fail from the very first word on the book. Guidelines. That's it. Think about that. Education, at least in my district, is set up to fail with the very first word of the book that we are supposed to follow to educate our kids with.